This is an announcement for the members of St Britius Church, Bryce Norton, and St John the Evangelist Church, Carterton. Before I make my announcement, I'm just going to read a few familiar words from the first chapter of Luke's Gospel. In the tender compassion of our God, the dawn from on high shall break upon us, to shine on those who dwell in darkness and the shadow of death, and to guide our feet into the way of peace. Amen. Well, no doubt you've all seen or heard the recent government announcement that churches are allowed to reopen for worship services from the 4th of July. And naturally, this has given rise to speculation about when and how Sunday services might start up again in our two churches. We would all love for this to happen soon, but there's also caution and anxiety around the easing of so many lockdown restrictions all at once, with the virus still very much at large and a significant threat to life. A joint meeting of our two PCCs was held on Sunday, the 28th of June, by Zoom conference call to discuss what our response should be. The conclusion of the meeting was that it is too soon to reopen safely and with confidence. And we agree that we will not reopen for private prayer or services until the church leadership team are agreed that it is safe and appropriate to do so. This will not be until, at the earliest, the beginning of August. And this is to allow time for the necessary preparatory work to be done. We also agreed that it's important to make clear to everyone that when services do restart, they will initially and for the foreseeable future be very different from what we're used to. We need to prepare ourselves for this. There'll be strict distancing and hygiene rules. There'll be an intensified cleaning regime. There'll be no singing or playing of wind instruments, and there'll be no serving of refreshments. We already have a coronavirus continuity plan, which has been regularly updated. We're on to version 7 at the moment. And building on this, we're going to be preparing a detailed roadmap of the steps towards reopening. We'll produce this as soon as we have sufficient information to be able to do so. Now, how do we get there? The government's guidance was published yesterday, the 29th of June. And the next steps will be, firstly, to wait for the National Church of England response and interpretation of this government guidance. Secondly, our Diocesan and Deanery officers will brief us on how this national church policy on reopening is to be implemented locally. And thirdly, detailed risk assessments will have to be produced by us for both St John's Church and St Britius Church. Fourthly, church staff and ministers and volunteers will need to be briefed and, where necessary, trained in the duties and responsibilities required to open safely. I wish I could give you a simpler and more optimistic message today, and I sympathise with those who long for a return to normal. I long for it too. But I ask for your prayers, for your patience, and for your understanding. With my team, I will continue to serve you and to keep you informed as the situation develops. Thank you for listening. I'm going to end with those words again from the Benedictus, Luke chapter 1. In the tender compassion of our God, the dawn from on high shall break upon us, to shine on those who dwell in darkness and the shadow of death, and to guide our feet into the way of peace. Amen.